Hi guys, welcome to our first ever podcast. So we're super excited you're here. This is the first ever podcast for the Book Mash, where we'll be mashing up book opinions and doing fun things, and who knows what else will happen. In our first ever episode, we're going to introduce ourselves with a couple rapid fire questions to give you an idea of who we are and what you can expect from our shows in the future.
All right, so let's tell you about our name first. We are sisters, in case you couldn't tell. We inadvertently matched our hair today. Look at that. We both love books and reading, and we thought it would be a good idea to invite all of you into our sister antics, discussing what we love about the books that we're currently reading, and or recommending to you books and to each other. So let's start off with some introductions. Ash, do you want to start us off?
Well, first of all, I'm Ashleigh. This is my sister Miranda, and together we make the Book Mash. We were literally just talking about having to make a cute little jingle to start it off because it felt awkward, like hitting go and just jumping in. So we're like, well, we're gonna have to do like the Book Mash together and see how much fun that is. So like I said, my name's Ashleigh. A little bit about my reading background is I hated reading. I remember Miranda sitting across from me in the living room, always like downing a book. It took her like a day to read the last Harry Potter book, and I would just sit there looking at her like, what in the world is your issue, lady? How are you doing this? And I got into books probably when my oldest, she's 15. She was probably like a couple of years old, and then I immediately got out of it. I didn't want anything to do with books anymore, and no. So then this last summer, or no, it was, what was it, like March of 2023, I somehow got onto Book Talk on TikTok, and one of Colleen Hoover's books, what book was it? I'll have to remember. One of Colleen Hoover's books came up on my Book Talk, and I was like, what in the world? And it was like people telling the story and all the good jazz, and I was like, I need to read this book. I haven't read a book in I don't know how many years, but I'm going to read this book. And then I immediately had to go buy another Colleen Hoover book and another Colleen Hoover book. And I think Colleen Hoover for me was like a great introduction again. Miranda, have you read any of Colleen Hoover's?
I have not yet. So that might be one that you can throw into our sister choose list.
Yeah, you guys will learn about that here in a little bit. And then for some reason, Book Talk just stayed on my TikTok, and every time somebody recommended a good book, I was like, well, these people recommended Colleen Hoover. I'm going to, and now the issue. What kind of reader am I? I'm a mood reader, 110%. But here's the thing about my mood reading is if I start a series, I have to finish the series. I cannot, like right now I'm reading Throne of Glass. And I cannot like skip. I can't just go, oh, I'm taking a break from this series. I have to finish it, whether I DNF it later or it takes me a month to read the one book. I have to finish a series before I move on to another book. A fun fact about me, and I remember when I told Miranda this little fun fact about me, she's like, why would you do this? Why? Every time I start a book, I have to read the last page first before I start the book. I don't know why. It's something I've always done since Miranda and I read Harry Potter 1,015 years ago. I always have to read the last page first.
I feel like that would ruin like the whole experience.
Sometimes
definitely a fun fact because I don't get it.
Sometimes it does ruin the book, but sometimes it's like, but why does this happen? And then you're reading the book and you're like, no, because the end was different.
I mean, I guess that could work in some instances, but I'll stick to starting at the beginning. Oh my goodness. All right. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. Obviously, I am Miranda, and I'm Ashleigh's little sister. My reading background, just like you heard, I have always loved reading. I was someone that pre-ordered Harry Potter books before they came out in the store, and I would sit and read in between classes, before school, after school, all the time, reading until 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes as a teenager. And then I went to college and had to read not for fun and stopped reading altogether. I didn't start to get back into reading until about a year ago for Mother's Day. I jumped and bought myself a Kindle, and it was like the most awesome thing I've ever done. And I've read over 100 books since then and can't stop. I can't put my Kindle down. I love it. It's the most amazing thing I've ever done. Obviously, because now we're doing like book everything all the time.
Yes.
What kind of reader am I? I am also a mood reader. I am an ebook reader. I don't like physical copied books, mostly because I do most of my reading like at night. And so it makes it easier to have like that backlight, and I can just keep going and keep going. And if I leave my Kindle at home, I can pull it up on my phone. So it's there all the time. Like I'm not leaving a book somewhere. So that's definitely the kind of reader I am. A fun fact. I, reading Harry Potter, was the same age as the characters when those books came out. And my birthday is also in July, like Harry's. And so I felt like I could dive into that world. Why I didn't get a Hogwarts letter, I have no clue. But I'm still waiting. Maybe I'll get to teach. But I teach muggles, so that's all good. But yeah, there's a little bit about me. Let's do some rapid fire questions so you can get to know us just a little bit better. And we would love to see your comments. Answer the rapid fire questions that we're asking in the comments. We'd love to see your answers to these as well. So our first question, Ash, what's the book that made you fall in love with reading?
I'm trying to remember what it was called. Hold on. Let me look it up because it's going to kill me. Like I said, it was a Colleen Hoover book. And I know Reminders of Him was the second one I read. Where is my... There it is, my girl. Colleen Hoover.
Yeah, bring up your Goodreads list there. Check it out. Which one came first?
Because I also... I don't get as much reading as Miranda does, but I do read a lot. And I've read, I think last year I read 78 books. And this year I am cheating a little bit, but I'm already at 25 for the year. I
won't tell you what I'm at yet.
Well, you see, I don't get to work from home and I don't get to have my Kindle with me all the time.
That's true.
But I do read a children's book to preschoolers like 2 or 3 times a day. I started to count those onto my Goodreads so I could keep up with Miranda a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Regretting you.
It works. Yeah, that makes sense because I do. Yeah. I have my Kindle attached to my hand all the time. Yeah. When I'm on breaks or like when I'm waiting in the car to pick up children, all the time.
The book that got me back into reading was Regretting You by Colleen Hoover.
Nice.
It was amazing.
I'll have to add that to my TBR. I don't even have any Colleen Hoover on my
I cannot believe you have never read a Colleen Hoover.
I mean, I've heard good things, but I just haven't jumped in there yet.
On Book Talk, it's kind of controversial right now. I'm not sure why, but apparently Colleen Hoover did something that made everybody hate her, and I don't know what it is.
Interesting.
I love her books. What was the book that got you back into reading?
The first book that I read on my Kindle was Bridgerton.
Was it Bridgerton?
It was the first Bridgerton book. Yeah, I read the first 2, and then I got into the After series, and then I discovered Catherine Cowell, and it was downhill from there.
See, I have the first couple Bridgerton, and I still haven't read them.
They're good. They're good. I like the best book that I've read so far is the 3rd one, which is interesting because that is Benedict's story. And they flopped Colin and Benedict in the TV series. So if you have not read Benedict's story yet, before the new episodes come out, read it because it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, and that's why I started buying the Bridgerton books, was because I was so upset that where they cut off this season of Bridgerton that I wanted to read the book to figure out what happened, and I still haven't read the book. And the new
you'll get there.
I know. Okay, another rapid fire question. Do you prefer hardcover, paperback, ebook, or audio?
I already answered that question. Ebook all the way. Kindle. Ash, go ahead. What's your answer?
So I guess another kind of fun fact about me is if I'm reading a physical book, I also have it on Kindle, and I also have it on audiobook, because like if I'm driving in the car, I can't read my book at the same time, so I turn the audio on. Or same thing, like Miranda said, if she's laying in bed, I do have like a book light, but sometimes your eyes get tired or whatever, and I have a Kindle holder, so I'll turn on my Kindle. So I like to have it in all forms, but if it's paperback or hardback, it's definitely paperback. I hate holding a hardback book.
Well, and then you've got the sleeves that are like constantly falling off, and then you take it off and you feel like you're ruining the book by taking it off. Yeah, no, I'll pass.
I just put my Onyx Storm sleeve back on because I finished the book and then put it on the shelf, and my sleeve was next to it and my dust jacket, and I was like, I guess I better put that back on.
Yeah, definitely. All right. If you could have dinner with any author, living or dead, who would it be?
H.D. Carlton. Do you need my phone number? That girl, I'll tell you what, I follow her on TikTok too. She is amazing. Like, she is crafty. Some of the stuff that she does on like lives and stuff. Also, if you have never read an H.D. Carlton book, probably Miranda. Come on.
Yep, that's me. I'm on that list again.
The way, I don't know, but I want to sit down and pick that woman's brain.
Yeah.
She is magnificent. How about you?
Oh, Rebecca Yarros, all the way. Mm-hmm. Okay, not just because of Fourth Wing, because I've literally read all of her contemporary romance books, but have you seen that lady do an interview? She is so funny. She's hilarious. I feel like it would be an awesome time to get to pick her brain and talk to her, because she's just so down to earth, and she makes these jokes that just like seamlessly come out, and it's almost like they're just so there and on point that she's not even like laughing at herself. It's just her personality. I feel like that would be so fun. Have you heard the story of how she came up with the broccoli name for the cat?
No.
Okay, I'll have to send you that link. If you have not seen that, look it up, because it's super funny. It's a story about how she has her own orange cat that her son rescued. Yes, look it up. It's so funny. I would love to be able to sit with her.
And I'd love to sit down with her too to talk about The Last Letter.
Yes.
I want to know why she did that. Why did she do us so dirty? That's what I want to know. I'm like, I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't read it, I'm not going to spoil it. But you're like smooth sailing, and you're like, we're in the clear. And then all of a sudden, no, you're not in the clear. And it's like the last like 50 pages. Out. I remember like ugly sobbing at 3 a.m. And Brian rolls over and he's like, why are you crying? And I'm like, you don't understand. You
don't understand.
And he's like,
yeah, that one got me too.
Ashleigh, it's a book. And I'm like, I know it's a book. That's why I'm crying.
I gain emotional attachments to my characters, okay?
Okay. What genre do you read when you were in a reading slump? What would be the first genre you picked up?
Suspenseful romance. Anything suspenseful romance is awesome. Anything Catherine Cowles. Yeah, there's my answer.
Don't laugh at mine.
Okay.
Dark romance.
Why would I laugh?
You can never go wrong with a dark romance book.
Yeah, except you still haven't read Zodiac Academy, so if you're in a slump, grab one. That will help you.
No, I was in a reading slump. And after Onyx Storm, and I remember telling Miranda, like, I've started this book, and like I'm still dying. Like, I still can't get over it. And I picked up Den of Vipers. And I was like, this isn't gonna do it. I finished that book so quick, and it is thick. She is juicy.
Nice.
And it was done. So good.
I think I have that one on my TBR.
It's a good one. It's kind of slow at the beginning, but once it gets rolling, like,
yes. Hey, slow burn is not just for the romantic part of the book. Slow burn's for the plot too. I like a good slow burn.
Yeah, it definitely has a slow fire rolling through there.
Okay, last question. Which fictional world would you live in for a day?
That's a good one. I think right now I'm still kind of on my Scythe and Sparrow like high. And to me, like, that storyline is so good. So I'd either say that. I'm literally looking at my bookshelf like,
I get some ideas.
I know. I don't know. Or no, I lied. Fourth Wing. I want to live in that world.
Okay, but are you in Bayscath, or are you like somewhere else? Because if you're in the War College, I don't know how fun that would actually be.
What if we are like instructors?
Okay. I mean, that could be cool.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Or like we have some silly job there. Not going out to... What if we keep the dragons?
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go OG and say Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah.
Send me to Hogsmeade. I'm gonna spend some time drinking butterbeer, hanging out. That's my...
we should do like a whole episode just on Hogwarts and make butterbeer.
Yes. Did you see that I posted these the other day?
No.
Yeah. Definitely an impulse buy at the end of my Walmart shopping.
They were at Walmart?
Yes. Right by the registers. I was like, nope, can't pass that up. Gotta try them. Anything Harry Potter, I'm in.
That's funny.
All right. Like we said, post your answers to the questions in the comments. We want to hear what you think as well. What can you expect from our podcast in the future? So we're going to talk about book reviews. We've kind of already dove into that a little bit. From our current reads, we'll do deep dives of some of our favorite authors. We'll have some reading challenges. We can do some book club discussions. We're hoping to release episodes every 2 weeks, but you can follow and interact with us in our discussions and on our social media channels that are going to be listed below in the comments.
Yep.
We'll post some fun polls and things like that for you to interact with us outside of our podcast days. And Ash, do you want to tell us what we're doing for our first discussion?
So our first discussion, we're going to talk about one book that we didn't like and one book that we loved. I'm going to send Miranda off to start that one.
Oh, gosh. Okay. One book I didn't like. I I think this goes with like my hopeless romantic side because I'm a horrible reviewer, only in the sense that I'm super nice. Like I love everything.
Yep.
I almost always give 5 stars.
Yep.
Rarely do I give 4 stars. I'm like a book reviewer's dream. Like if you're an author, choose me. I'll give you 5 stars because I love everything. I'm not picky. If you've got a good plot, a good storyline, some good characters, I'm in. So I'm sorry. Like I can't.
I'm kind of the same way. I do that too. It's either I give you 5 stars or like I DNF the book. Like even if I read the book and I'm like, well, I didn't really like this part, yada yada yada. I'll be like, okay, 5 stars, and then I'll like make a comment and say I didn't like this part, but I'm still giving 5 stars, or I'll just say I DNF'd it.
I don't think I've DNF'd a book in a really long time. Like I always try to push through because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so maybe the beginning of this book isn't exactly what I'm expecting, but if I continue, maybe I'll get what I want out of it. And normally that happens. Normally I just have to be patient and it will come into fruition like I want it to. I can say that the book that I'm reading right now is an ARC book, and it's Someone to Love by Michelle Major. And I was probably 3 chapters in and I'm like, okay, I already love this. It has like Gilmore Girls banter in it. And Gilmore Girls was my favorite show growing up. And if you are a Gilmore Girls fan, then you probably understand what I'm saying. So that's something to look out for if you want to read that one. But
what's a book that you haven't liked?
I don't know. I don't know. I like everything. I don't think. Okay. I liked ACOTAR. I did. It just wasn't what I was expecting. There's a huge hype for the ACOTAR series, which I completely understand. Mm-hmm. But the first one didn't live up to my expectations.
Yep.
The second one, so much better. The third one, even better than that. So, like, I am an ACOTAR series fan, but I don't think I was a huge fan of the first book.
Did you read the other 2?
I've only read the first 3 so far.
Good. Don't do it.
So I did do a poll on Instagram, and majority of people said I should read the other ones. So I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Maybe if it pops up on KU, I'll read them. I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend the money on the ebook. We'll see.
I wouldn't. Especially on the A Court of Starlight and whatever it's called, the teeny tiny novella.
Yeah.
It's, like, it does world building for, I know we're getting into another sidetrack. It does world building for the last one, which then like changes characters and point of views. It goes into like 3rd person point of view. And like, I'm like, why couldn't we?
I mean, I've come across books that are like that. Like if we're looking at L.J. Jackson's books. Oh my gosh, I just mixed up 2 authors. Okay. I just mixed up L.J. Andrews.
I was
and oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'll know who she's talking about by the book title.
No. Okay. So we're talking about like the Moonlit Ridge series. If you're reading her books, they are first person. But when she does the flashbacks, it goes into 3rd person, which I really like because it's almost like you're seeing like an outside point of view.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
So it's kind of like with Kristen Hanna's The Great Alone. When she, like when the story's going, it's like first person, but then when she does like flashbacks, it's 3rd person too. So that kind of story I don't mind. But when the whole story is 3rd person, it drives me
not
bonkers.
Naming any names.
Not naming any names. But why would you do that? We were just talking about how I'm only like halfway done with this and I'm struggling. But so this is what we're going to do as well. Oh wait, did I answer? Oh, I didn't answer mine.
Yeah, you have to tell me which one you didn't like and then which one you liked.
Okay, so if you didn't guess already, I am huge into book talk. Like, that is where I get a majority of my TBR from, is book talk. Miranda will be like, Ashleigh, you've got to read this book. And I'm like, till it's on book talk, I ain't touching it. So I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, okay? And I feel it. I hear you already. The book that I hated, that I could not read, was 1,000 Boy Kisses.
I've never even heard of that one, because you know what?
Cole.
I'm not a book talker. I'm a bookstagrammer, and I haven't seen that one on Bookstagram.
It's by Tilly Cole, and like I think it was another one that was third person. I might be wrong. I got like halfway through the book, and everybody's like, this book's gonna tear you apart. And I read like halfway through, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. And it is not very often where I don't finish a book. I will push through. I will finish it. I will hate it. I will still give you a 5-star review because I finished the book. But that story, for some reason, was like way off into La La Land for me, and I could not. It's not very thick at all, but it took me forever to read 50% of that book. And Miley wants to read it, and I'm like, not good. And then she came out with the second one, and I'm like, maybe I should read the second one. And I'm like, no, because I didn't finish the first one. Ashleigh, you didn't read it. A book that I loved is Almost Anything. I'm the same as Miranda. Like, I just love to read. I'm trying to think of one recently that I've read that's like stood out to me like crazy. I, of course, the Butcher and the Blackbird series. That's one of my favorites. I'm trying to get Miranda to read that one. I loved it. If you know, you know. Anything Rebecca Yarros, I love. I have a couple that Miranda's like, you still haven't read that? And I'm like, no, I have not. It's
Variation. You all know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
literally looking
not read it yet.
I'm looking at it right there.
Read Variation.
It's right there. But I think
it is. I know.
I think the reason I haven't read that one yet, though, is because Amazon did me dirty with it. And I know that I can get it on Kindle, but I think I'm just like super ticked off that Amazon did me dirty with that one still.
That's not Rebecca's fault.
I know it's not Rebecca's fault. I don't know.
Oh,
okay.
Goodness.
So one thing that we're going to do is we also started, it's going to be slow rolling. We also started a book club. We have it on a Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, it'll also be linked below. But we thought it would be fun. Miranda's going to bring it up right now. We're going to do a blind book pick. Oh, my Lanta. A blind book pick. And if you see our lovely wheel right here. So once a month, we're going to spin this wheel. And we are going, like, I'm going to spin, and I'm going to pick a book for both Miranda and I to read. And then she's going to spin, and she's going to do the same thing. I will tell you, there is the sister picks on there. And that means that I get to pick the book that she reads, or vice versa. So we're going to start here, but we are going to, did we ever decide if we were going to announce it on here, or we were going to wait till next week?
I think what will happen is I will spin, and then whatever I get, I'll pick the book and we'll both read it. But we'll give each other a couple days. Like, maybe we'll release the information on Instagram when we post the video to YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, if I get fantasy, I'll pick a fantasy book for both of us to read that we'll discuss during one of our subsequent channel episodes. And then you'll do the same thing. So that gives us a little bit of time to, like, really pick a good one.
Yeah.
That way we're not just, like, pulling it out of thin air. So I'll write down which one we choose, and then we'll announce which book that we're reading. And if you want to join in for the book club part of that portion, you can with the book that we're reading that goes along with our spinner.
So if you want to see before our next podcast which book we picked, go find us on Instagram. I'm going to link it below along with our Discord and Miranda and I's Instagram pages. So make sure you go follow us so that you'll know when we announce it. Okay, Miranda's going to spin first.
Okay, here we go.
I'm scared.
Sister picks. Sister
I
picks
already
for
know?
you.
Do I already know what it is?
Do you? Do you really?
Do I?
Do you want to announce it now, or do you want to wait and make it suspenseful?
I'm going to make them go to Instagram.
Okay.
I am. Because
but you'll have to tell
I already know
when we're done, so I know.
It's one of two. I will tell you.
Okay.
Okay, now she's spinning for me.
All right, here's Ash.
Oh, what is it?
Thriller.
Ooh. I'm actually excited.
So now you get to pick 2 books.
Well, yeah. No?
But I mean, technically, I get, because you're picking one for me.
Oh,
but you don't have to read.
Yeah.
But you don't have to read the one you picked for me because you probably already read it.
But I don't have to pick one that I haven't read.
Okay, whatever. You get to pick both of them this time around. It's all good.
I know.
All right.
So yeah, if you, like I said, if you want to know what books we are reading for our Discord or our other podcasts for the rest of March, make sure you go follow Instagram so that you'll know.
Yes. And that brings us to our last bit. We are inviting you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please make sure you follow us on our social medias. They are going to be linked below, and participate in some of the things that we've got going on Instagram, so that we can build a community of our Book Mash listeners. Next time, we're going to dive into those books that we chose with our spinner. So we'll get to talk a little bit about those. So don't miss it. We will make sure that we announce when our new episode is going to be up and running.
Stay bookish, stay mashed, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye, guys.